Hey guys, and we are back with the GameWeek 5, GameWeek 6 episode for our Fantasy Premier League chat. I have Rocketman along with me. Last week was a bit difficult to record because I think all of you guys know we had the Friday deadline. So we reached Thursday and we figured, oh shit, we haven't recorded the podcast yet, so might as well combine both game weeks. So, yeah, Vinith, how did GameWeek 5 go for you?
Game week 5 was pretty good, given that Werner scored 16 points for me. He had a good run, even though Chelsea ended up the match with a draw.
Yeah, 3-3 was...
They just... it was just coming, you could see that. So yeah, they ended up with the draw. But Son also is playing quite ballistic now.
Yeah.
So Son and Ings and Salah all contributed to my points. I end up with 56.
Is that a green arrow? Was it a good game week? Or?
That was a very decent game week. I think I jumped 50,000 ranks overall, and it was decent. It wasn't a massive gain, but it was way above average. And the next game week was. And it's still above average, but I think it's subpar for me because
small red arrow.
Yeah, and you know that you're doing bad when Big Man Joe is scoring left and right next to you. He's seeing Bamford go hat-trick, and then Son gets an assist, Harry Kane gets an assist, Son scores, and I think Big Man Joe ended up the top point scorer this week, and you can listen to that later. But for me personally, it wasn't a great game week as such, but it wasn't the worst either. So I should not be crying, because till now I've got my captain choices wrong till last week. Well, last week being my Pulisic my captain, getting 4 points. Then I could have made my vice captain Werner my captain. I always get it wrong, but this time my captain choice saved me because I captained Son and I got 22 points right there, and it worked out really well. So that was my game week 5 and game week 6. How was yours?
Yeah, back to not form as such, but I had 2 good game weeks. I think game week 6 was really extremely good, given everyone pretty much scored. Let's look at game week 5. Game week 5 was pretty decent, I would say. I got 75 points is pretty good. I think I went with Mane captain when I should have gone for Son actually. But what did Liverpool have that day? They had Everton, right? 2-2. They were actually playing pretty well, and then we were watching that match, how Jordan Pickford literally killed Van Dijk, how Richarlison almost killed Thiago. I mean, insane tackles, insane match.
And VAR.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous right now.
It's absolute disgrace for the sport right now. The VAR, and it's not the system; it's the people behind it. As people say, they're not doing a great job with that, and it ruined Liverpool's game last game week, and this game week it ruined Chelsea's game because even though they had VAR, they didn't award the penalty which should have been given.
Yeah.
Then they're not doing it well.
So 75 points for the first game week. I think Mane, Son, Ings, pretty much everyone delivered for me there. And I think both of my goalkeepers also, Pope and Martinez, are actually getting a decent haul, but having to decide who to play, who to put on the bench is actually a bit tricky at times. So heading into game week 6 was insane because I think both of us didn't watch the Leeds game, and they were facing Aston Villa, who at that time was unbeaten in Europe. I mean, 5 straight wins, and then losing 3-0 to Leeds with Bamford scoring all 3 goals was insane. To wake up the next day and see 17 points from Bamford was, that was...
17 points from one player from one match.
Yeah.
He wakes up to those points the next day. I think it would be safe to say that you had 2 amazing game weeks.
Last game week, good, but this one was insane. I think 87, given that the average point scored was 50, so 37 plus points over the average game week points is it's a huge haul. Given that I had Zaha who scored 13. I had Son. I switched Danny Ings for Kane, and I thought, because Kane is going through, he has 3 good fixtures now, all green fixtures. So the switch worked there as well, even though.
On the contrary, I went for Calvert-Lewin, giving up Ings for this game week, which ended up terribly because Southampton trashed Everton because of Luka Dean getting red card. Of course, they couldn't defend properly, and Ings got 2 assists.
Yeah.
He got 2 assists whereas Calvert-Lewin got just 2 points. So.
I mean, even though you still got 50 points in game 6, and still not very bad.
Says the guy who got 87 and topped the charts this game week.
Yeah, guys, it's one game week. You saw the game week that went terribly. You're seeing a game week that went well. So you should be level-headed at times.
So this game week, you guys know how our top performer did. But last game week, one of our league members played a free hit and got 92 points.
That's an insane one.
That's a good free hit.
Yeah.
That's a very good free hit.
Average points that game week was 60 points as well, so that's an insane jump. So.
Yeah, so it's Maya Prakash. He played the free hit, he played Martinez on goal, Mings, Saiz, Castana blanked.
Who did captain?
He had
Fernandes, it's okay.
Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno for lunch, babies.
Yeah, so he did well. Son and Kane, obviously, captain Kane, which got him 32 points right there. Son was his vice captain, he also got 13 points. DCL got 6 points. Rest of them blank, but it doesn't matter, he's at 92. So he had a pretty good, that is an example of how to use free hit very efficiently. We are still figuring out when to use ours. But this guy rolled his dice there, got his returns.
So for people, with the chips and all, it's actually, especially triple captain and free hit and stuff, there's a lot of risk reward, right? The timing with it is very important because you can put it in a really good game week and then players don't perform, or there's a lot of luck involved with that as well, right? So
yeah, it's basically high risk, high reward. You can also be cheap and go with how these FPL podcasts are. If we suggest you can go with our suggestion when to play your wild card, when to play your triple captain, which is the best statistically, which is the best game week to play this. You can go with all that, but also at the same time you can roll a dice like this guy here, and you can get it right as well.
Yeah.
So it's totally up to you. When it's upon your intuition, when you feel that you want to play those chips, and when you feel that you might have good chances at it working out.
Yeah, that's the best way to play the game, at least for me, because I'm trying an experimental season this year. In the past, what I would do is basically always look at, let's say if there's a good YouTuber who does FPL podcast, I would use his decision making as a reference point. Say if he thinks that some players are good to come in for the gaming, then I'll think about those players. Maybe I'll get in. If I don't agree with him, I don't get it in. So sometimes that's good, and sometimes it influences you in a bad way as well, because they will sometimes suggest players that don't work out for you, and then you can't blame them, right? At the end of the day, it's your squad, you have to make the decisions. So anyways, this season, what I'm trying to do is not take any help at all. Just even if I'm playing the game bad, just look at the game week, look at who's doing well, and just decide for myself, not really using any help. So is it working, is it not working? I can only look at that at the end of the season, so not really right now.
Right now it looks like it's working, and
no, because I had that terrible game week, especially when the wild card could have worked, right? So there is a bit of luck involved as well.
Do you see the difference there? The time is when we started watching games properly every game week, and we are watching how teams are performing, and then you go by your intuition and you make your team. That's working out. Like it takes time. Yeah, but it's working out. So the best method is to watch the games and see how players are performing, and then making your guesses. But not everyone has the time. That's where we think we might be of help to you. So we'll try our best to tell you who might be in form, who might get the next points, and we'll try our best to help you out. And at the same time, we'll try to tell you how our mistakes costed us. Here, my mistake was holding on to my players too long. Let's take Warner. Let's take anyone from my team. Let's take. I'm going with Pulisic, who hasn't started like a game before last game week. So that's just my intuition. But if you see generally, you can't really roll a dice on a player who has just started to play. Then I am taking Pulisic because I am a Chelsea fan and I feel that he might do well. But you if you are choosing a player from a team which you really don't know about, you can't really roll a dice on a player who you think will just score after he comes. He's just fit to play a full match, and you can't just roll the dice on him. That's the thing. So we try to help you out there. So my mistake was Mitrovic, Werner, Pulisic, all these players, I held on to them for too long. It's starting to cost me. We'll see if this leads to me using a wild card. If it leads to me using a free hit, we'll see how it goes forward. But right now, us watching games and him making his educated guess.
It is.
Yeah, educated guess on players is working out. It took time, but it's starting to work out. So we'll see how the next game week goes.
I mean, watching matches to an extent, you need to differentiate between players passing the eye test in terms of them, those players looking good, whereas them being an FPL asset. So what happens is, we were watching the Brighton game, I think in game week 1 or 2, and we were looking at Eric Lamptey. He was playing an absolutely amazing game, but FPL wise, he absolutely makes no sense, right? So you have to be careful there as well. And pretty much every advice that we give regarding players is always with a pinch of salt, because FPL is somewhere between guessing, somewhere between intuition, somewhere between statistics. So guessing is not wrong, because anytime you make a decision, you are guessing because you're trying to predict the future. So taking help from others, taking help from someone who's good at the game doesn't matter at the end of the day. You have to pick the players in your squad. So that's FPL. Credit to all the 7.5 million people watching and playing. Yeah.
So we're talking about the fixtures, the results of game week 5, the games played there. We already discussed how Chelsea's defensive errors led to a 3-3 draw at Stamford Bridge against Southampton. We saw the Everton and Liverpool game where the VAR was not used efficiently. They gave an offside for 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters into offside position. That was ridiculous, and that was just robbed off.
And how did Jordan Pickford not get a red even after the match? I don't understand that.
So that was there, and City showed Arsenal how it's done with their 1-0 win over Arsenal. United did well with Newcastle, Fernandes scoring the penalty, I think, that match.
Yeah, they were 1-1 at halftime, and then all the substitutions made a difference there. Yeah.
And Spurs.
We missed this match. I was looking forward to this because I knew Gareth Bale is going to play at least for the last 20 minutes. And because we did the bold prediction as well, right? Like I said, Gareth Bale was going to get the goal and assist. He had the chance in the last minute to actually make the match 4-3. But he missed that chance. So.
They gave away a 3-0 lead in 8 minutes. So
yes.
You can also say that's a miraculous comeback from West Ham, but you can also say it's a stupid mistake from Spurs.
Loss of
concentration, loss of focus. That was bad. The next game week was pretty interesting. With Leeds, Bamford bagging a hat-trick against Aston Villa, who had the fewest goals conceded this season and the most clean sheets, of course, and they were unbeaten.
Yeah.
And Leeds go there with Bamford, bang, 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 3 goals, and that's it. Yeah. They finished the game 3-0. City, I don't know, against West Ham,
it was a pretty scrappy game. I don't think.
With De Bruyne on the bench, I still think they're still yet to find their feet.
West Ham is actually playing pretty well, right? They're getting results out of almost every game.
One of the underdogs this season.
Yeah.
West Ham, Leeds, and Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So Manchester United, Chelsea was a boring game except for that penalty which should have been given.
Sure.
There are memes
Yes.
online everywhere. So
That's the Chelsea bias saving through.
But you can also see.
I mean, yeah, it was a yeah. They could have given that, but
I mean, they reviewed it, but they didn't.
yeah.
Like, who would not give that as a penalty? So that was there. Southampton and Everton was an interesting match where we all thought Everton would do well, but I think the incident leading to Dean's red card costed them defensively, and Ings took the opportunity. He had to assist. Wolves, Newcastle, we didn't
Mr.
watch.
Consistent, Raul Jimenez, a goal pretty much every game since game week 1, and that's the reason why I would say you should have him. I mean, he's not very explosive. He's not going to score 2-3 goals and give away assists, but you're getting someone who's at least going to give you 6 to 8 points pretty much every game week, and then you don't have to decide about one striker, right? So if you're playing 2 strikers, keep Jimenez and then go for someone else. So I think Jimenez is actually pretty good right now. Yeah.
That was it from this game week. So the coming game week, the fixtures.
I haven't seen it actually. What do we have?
So we have
United Arsenal is pretty good for Sunday. Yeah.
that looks interesting. Liverpool West Ham also will be an interesting watch. The rest, I think, is pretty much. No, Leeds and Leicester look like a very good fixture. That's something to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, next game week looks decent.
Which one are you looking forward to watch?
I would be looking forward to watch United and Arsenal. And
Who's going to win that match?
I think Arsenal.
Really?
Yeah.
After United won against PSG, after they won 4-1 against Newcastle, after they drew against Chelsea. I mean, they played pretty well against Chelsea. Chelsea couldn't.
They played pretty well defensively.
Yeah. Attacking wise, yeah.
Attacking wise, they still
both teams were pretty. Couldn't make.
They were not creative.
Yeah.
So Arsenal, I think they'll just snatch it from United. That's my prediction. Coming to predictions here, bold prediction.
Bold predictions, huh? The Gareth Bale one did work last week. I'm going to go for him again as long as I think he's fit. He's not injured, right?
He's almost match fit, yeah.
Almost match fit. Okay. Gareth Bale. I'm going for the same thing. Maybe that's not very bold, but since it didn't work last time, I'm going to roll the dice against this time. Goal and assist for Spurs against Brighton. If it doesn't work, that's it. Gareth Bale, you're breaking my heart. I'm a Madridista. You came here after so many years. You were killing it with golf. Now it's your time to start scoring some goals, but no.
Yeah, that's the Madridista bias kicking in.
I mean, he played more games of golf than he played for us, so there's no bias there. There's
I would go with a very unpopular prediction this game week. I'll go with De Bruyne giving 2 assists against Sheffield United. He's almost match fit. He was on the bench last game week, so I think he'll start for the next game week against Sheffield.
We need going safe always. It's not very bold, my man. It's Sheffield away. I mean, City's going to do well given that they had a 1-1 draw. They're going to fucking belt Sheffield United. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but I'm saying 2 assists. So
of course he's going to get 2 assists. Come on. You know what you should predict? Burnley versus Chelsea. Who's your Chelsea boy playing for Burnley?
Lamptey.
Not Lamptey. What's his name? No, that's Barkley is an Arsenal. Shit, I was going to go with
Burnley is a drink water.
Drinkwater. Oh shit! I was going to go with something like Barkley is going to score the goal against Chelsea or something.
No. But talking about Barkley, he looks like he's in a really good form.
Yeah, you had to go away from Chelsea for that.
He was in really good form at Chelsea too, but they just didn't play him that much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'll still stick to my De Bruyne prediction. I'll go with that one. See, he was safe with his sticking to his Gareth Bale again. Yeah, I'll go with De Bruyne this time.
Okay. Gareth Bale is my safe prediction. Okay, my bold prediction is Antonio 2 goals against Liverpool. That's my bold prediction.
Wow!
West Ham to draw that game or win that game. That's what I'm going to go for.
Antonio 2 goals against Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's.
He hit a bicycle kick against Man City for God's sake. He's the fucking bison right now. He's playing really well. So yeah, West Ham's going to get something from that game. For sure.
My bold prediction would be Aubameyang 2 goals against Manchester United.
That's safe.
That's not it. Manchester United look amazing defensively right now. They look like they're finally, settling in with the defense. Lindelof and Maguire look like they're set. Luke Shaw being a liability as always.
But we made the joke last week that Luke Shaw should go to Bayern Munich so that he can, do a body recomposition. Because we read that post where Philippe Coutinho gained 4 kgs of muscle mass while he was in Bayern Munich. That place has become one
gym.
Basically that, yeah.
Good gym. So Aubameyang against United will be something to watch. So that's it from this podcast. It was quite long this time actually.
Yeah, we had 2 game weeks. I think hopefully we've given you some good advice here and there, and also some good advice on playing the game properly. Because it's fantasy at the end of the day. There's a lot of luck involved as well when it comes to the selecting your team. Because I'm sure even this team that I played and I got the highest points, next week it's very much likely that all of them can black. It's always that possibility is always there. So you can't get messed up with 1 game week. It's 38 game weeks. So keep playing the long-term game. Don't hold on to players for too long. Even if you're supporting the team as well. If it's 4, 5, 6 game weeks as well, be reasonable and switch them to someone who's in form as well. So, yeah, hopefully that helps.
Be naive, but not for long. When you see that it's not working out, switch it up instantly. Yeah. Go with educated guesses. Go with trusting your player's form, his fitness. His fitness obviously plays an important role since all the games are cramped now, so the season shortened. So to take into consideration of all that and then make your choice. So if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments below. Leave a like.
Cheers.